Welcome back to today's Explainer. We've got a really fascinating one for you today, diving into a feat of everyday engineering that most of us just completely walk past. We're talking about the hidden, absolutely critical foundation of a lasting carport. You know, when we look at a brand new, perfectly installed carport, our eyes naturally go straight up. We check out the sleek steel roofing, the clean lines of the posts, or that perfectly stretched shade net. But the real magic? The actual engineering that decides if that structure is going to be standing straight 5 or even 20 years from now? That all happens completely underground. So let's dig in and uncover the secrets of the invisible anchor.
So, I've got to ask, what's actually holding your carport down? Sounds like a super simple question, right? But the stakes here are incredibly high. You see, a structure might look absolutely flawless on paper or in a 3D model. It's perfectly symmetrical. The mouth works out perfectly. But, well, paper doesn't have to deal with the real world. The harsh reality, especially when we're dealing with things like intense Gauteng weather, massive wind uplift, and constantly shifting soil, is that the ground is a wildly dynamic environment. A gorgeous design means absolutely nothing if the very earth it's sitting on is moving around or failing under the pressure.
To cut right through the noise, our source material drops this perfect quote. A carport is only as stable as whatever is holding it down. Boom, hit the nail on the head. That right there is the core premise of our entire explainer today. Getting the base right isn't just some optional nice-to-have upgrade. It is the fundamental first step. If you rush to get the steel up before you've properly solved for the foundation, you are literally just building a giant house of cards.
All right, here's our game plan for today. We're going to cover 1. The invisible anchor. 2. Why concrete is king. 3. Paving, gravel, and soil. 4. Building the perfect slab. 5. Steel versus shadeports. And 6. Hiring the right installer. Let's get right into it.
Okay, Section 1. The invisible anchor. High stakes of carport construction.
Let's be real. When your base is inadequate, the failures aren't just annoying, they are catastrophic and incredibly expensive. We're talking about the entire roof violently shifting out of square, which completely warps the metal panels. You'll see posts actively working themselves loose from the dirt, whole structures sinking unevenly, and the base itself just cracking wide open. And our source notes this happens surprisingly often on older Gauteng properties. Why? Simply because the original surface of a home built, say, 30 or 40 years ago was just never engineered to carry the massive, dynamic load of a modern steel roof.
Moving on to Section 2. Why concrete is king. The undeniable solution.
The absolutely crucial point here is understanding exactly what your base is fighting against out there. A steel carport upright needs something incredibly solid to bolt into, because it's carrying a huge amount of real weight. It's holding up heavy steel roof sheeting. It's constantly fighting lateral wind forces that push hard sideways against those panels. And occasionally it has to hold the dead weight of pooled rainwater if the roof pitch is just a tiny bit off. All of those intense dynamic loads transfer straight down through the posts. Now, soil? Soil moves with rain, but properly cured reinforced concrete? That stuff stays put. It perfectly resists those lateral loads and transfers all that massive weight safely into the ground without shifting or cracking.
To guarantee that kind of rock-solid stability, footings typically need to be poured to a depth of 400 to 600 millimeters. To put that into perspective, we aren't just talking about slabbing a little cement on the grass here. This specific depth is strictly required to get below the frost line and actually hit stable soil, specifically for the soil types we commonly see across the Gauteng region. It ensures the concrete anchor is deep enough that surface-level moisture and temperature swings won't heave or disrupt the whole structure.
Which brings us to Section 3. Paving, gravel, and soil, busting the myths.
You know, a lot of us look at our existing driveway paving and think, hey, it's flat, it's hard, we're good to go. But existing paving was only laid to carry evenly distributed foot traffic or maybe the rolling weight of a parked car. It is notoriously susceptible to lifting with tree roots or slightly shifting subbases. On the flip side, a carport post is point loading. It's taking all that immense weight and wind pressure from a steel roof and driving it down into one tiny little footprint. Actually, putting a heavy point-loaded structure onto a weak, purely decorative paving surface doesn't save you time at all. It literally just fast-tracks a total structural failure.
And the other common shortcuts? They fare even worse. Why do they fail? Well, gravel is entirely loose. It shifts way too easily under those repeated wind loads pushing on the roof, meaning posts set in gravel are going to work loose in just a season or two. Bare soil, come on, that's only ever a starting point for a dig, never a finished base. And sloped sites are incredibly deceptive because water running under a structure from higher ground will just erode the dirt right out from underneath your posts, inviting severe water damage. You simply cannot attach a permanent steel structure to a temporary, shifting surface. No way.
All right, Section 4, building the perfect slab. The mechanics.
Now, for those of you opting for a full concrete slab, which, by the way, is highly recommended for larger structures like double carports since it spreads the load beautifully and gives you a nice, clean, usable floor, the magic numbers for residential jobs are typically 75 millimeters to 100 millimeters thick. But listen, it can't just be pure concrete. At this thickness, it absolutely must be reinforced with steel mesh to give it that essential tensile strength.
So the standard preparation sequence is this really precise, rhythmic 6-step process. First up, clear and level the site, getting rid of any topsoil that might settle weirdly later. Second, systematically compact your base layer with crushed stone. Third, set out your formwork and double-check that every single corner is perfectly square. Fourth, lay that reinforcing mesh, making sure to raise it slightly so it sits right smack in the middle of the slab. Fifth, you pour the concrete and, this is huge, let it properly cure. Finally, step 6, you mark the post positions. Notice that you only mark and fix the posts after curing. Trying to rush that curing time just to save a single day on the schedule? Yeah, that's the #1 reason slabs crack in their first year. Patience here absolutely pays off structurally.
Moving on to Section 5, Steel versus Shadeports, understanding the nuance.
So how does the type of roof change things? Well, while the basic footing principle stays the same, the actual loads are vastly different. A steel carport features a solid roof. When the wind blows, that roof acts exactly like a giant sail, creating crazy high lateral wind resistance. So it demands wider, deeper footings at every single post. A shadeport, on the other hand, uses netting. That mesh actively lets the wind pass right through it. Because the wind isn't slamming against the solid panel, the lateral load per post is significantly lower. It's a brilliant bit of physics that allows shadeports to safely achieve much wider spans between posts and potentially requires fewer footings overall.
And our final stop, Section 6, hiring the right installer. What you need to know.
When you're vetting an installer, you absolutely have to verify these 5 things. First, do they insist on a pre-quote site assessment? They need to physically confirm what your existing surface can actually handle. Second, are the footing depths explicitly specified up front? You cannot leave this up to guesswork on the day the concrete truck suddenly arrives. Third, are they knowledgeable about local council requirements? A lot of municipalities in Gauteng demand strict approvals for permanent structures. Fourth, is proper curing time actually built into their schedule? And finally, check their specific soil experience. This is huge. The red clay soils common in Pretoria behave completely differently under a heavy load than the sandier ground you'll find further north. Your installer needs specialized, localized expertise to match the concrete to the dirt.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this one vital question. Is your property ready for a permanent upgrade, or are you just looking for a temporary fix? Because as we've explored today, the base is the part nobody ever sees once the job is finished, but it's literally the only part that dictates if the structure survives. Getting that invisible anchor right the very first time, matching the depth to the soil and the concrete to the lateral load, is the single only way to guarantee long-term success. Thanks so much for joining me to uncover the hidden engineering right beneath our feet. Keep learning, keep asking the big questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.